Central Coast News right now. This is breaking news.
Early this morning in West Virginia, all of the bodies of the 29 men killed in a coal mine explosion last week have been removed from that mine. I'm Mark Cota-Robles.
And I'm Jasmine Veal. Now, the bodies were taken out around 3 a.m. today Eastern Time. The bodies are being sent to the state medical examiner for autopsies. Recovery efforts were stalled in previous days by deadly gases, but teams entered the mines after the tunnels were ventilated. Federal investigators have begun looking into what caused the worst U.S. coal mining disaster since 1970.
The time is just about 5 a.m. on your Tuesday. New information this morning back here on the Central Coast on a large tree that fell across Castroville Boulevard east of Paradise Road in Prunedale last night. And here's video from the scene. We called CHP overnight and they say all the debris has now been cleared. Also, PG&E says all power has been restored to the hundreds of people in that area who were in the dark. The tree was resting on a live power line. The tree had knocked out power there in the area and forced the road to be closed. Tamara Berg is back in the Weather Center with more on our forecast. Good morning.
That's right. A very good Tuesday morning to everyone. Well, we've got that system that departed yesterday. It did bring some rain showers with it. And right now we're seeing a few little speckles of the green popping up on the radar and satellite this morning. We are certainly socked into the clouds from coast to coast, and it looks like we'll continue with a mostly cloudy morning. But look at this. Just within the past hour, a nice little dollop of rain did move across the Monterey Peninsula. You'll see this radar loop here in the echo within the past couple of minutes, and just a little bit of some very light rain coming down along the Monterey Peninsula. Now, overall, nothing to be alarmed of because the rain is finally going to get the boot, and we're going to finally see a mix of sun and clouds for today. Slightly warmer than it was yesterday. At the coast, we'll expect it to be about 62 on this Tuesday, 65 for the inland folks. And your sunrise this morning at 6:36 a.m. We are looking at a few weather systems that are making their way back to the Central Coast by the end of the week. I'll talk about what that means for your weather forecast coming up in just a little bit. Back to you.
Tamara, thanks. The time is 5:01 and new this morning. Consumer Reports is urging readers not to buy the Lexus GX 460 seen there on your screen, saying the SUV carries an unusually high risk of rollover accidents during certain types of turns. In the latest blow to Toyota's reputation, the magazine says in handling tests, the SUV slid until it was nearly sideways before the electronic stability control system regained control. It says that this could lead to a rollover accident and real-world driving, and has given the GX 460 a rare "don't buy, safety risk" label until the problem is fixed.
Today in Boulder Creek, classes should resume at the elementary school after a teacher found a dead body on school property. The man's body was found near a classroom yesterday. The Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Department is investigating it as a possible homicide. Investigators have not released the man's name, the victim's name, but the school says he did not work there. Today, a school psychologist will be available to meet with any students who need additional support. Teachers say they plan to resume a regular school day. Counselors do say that a normal schedule and routine is one of the best ways to make a child feel safe.
And turning now to an education alert, more budget cuts are on the horizon for the Salinas Union High School District, including possible layoffs at the Salinas Adult School. Today, the district's board will decide if it should let go of 3 employees to save $280,000. Right now, the district is facing a $4 million deficit. District Business Manager Jerry Stratton says cutting jobs is a last resort. Stratton adds that the district is making reductions at Salinas Adult School since class sizes have dropped from 15,000 students to 7,000 students a year.
Now on to your Central Coast economy this morning. A local service workers union will be meeting to discuss how to keep men and women in Monterey County employed. At the meeting, SEIU Local 521 will present some budget solutions that could redeploy up to $50 million for essential services, job recovery, and restoring the local economy. And they've been at it before. Organizers say the threat of more service cuts and job loss locally could impact safety net services and the local economy. The meeting will take place at 10:30 this morning at 168 West Alisell Street in Salinas. Also this morning, Monterey County could sign off on a styrofoam ban. The Board of Supervisors is expected to make a final vote on this ordinance, stopping restaurants from serving food in styrofoam takeout containers. It would affect unincorporated areas of the county. These towns would have 6 months to comply. In America right now, President Obama's historic nuclear summit wraps up in the nation's capital today.
And that's right. The president held a series of one-on-one meetings with world leaders yesterday. But this morning, all 47 countries will basically get down to business. And President Barack Obama hopes by the end of today, world leaders will agree on a plan to keep nuclear materials out of the hands of terrorists. The president's counterterrorism chief stressed yesterday that al-Qaeda is actively looking for the key ingredients for a nuclear bomb and someone who can assemble it. As part of a joint effort to secure the loose materials within 4 years, Canada pledged to send its spent nuclear fuel to the U.S. Ukraine also agreed to give up its weapons-grade uranium.
This is something that the United States has tried to make happen for more than 10 years. The material is enough to construct several nuclear weapons.
The U.S. and Russia are expected to sign a deal today to reducing stocks of weapons-grade plutonium. And while Iran may not be on the official agenda of the two-day summit, the country's nuclear program is on the minds of many. After a one-on-one session with President Obama, White House officials say China is now prepared to work with the U.S. on a set of potential sanctions against Iran. The goal is making it clear that a nuclear defiance will not be tolerated.
And also happening there in Washington, D.C. late last night, a bicyclist was killed in an accident with a National Guard vehicle assigned to the Nuclear Summit motorcade. Officials say the accident happened just 5 blocks from where the summit is being held. Authorities say they are investigating the death.
The time is 5:05 on your Tuesday, and earlier this morning in South Korea, about 60 protesters gathering near Seoul's American embassy. They are rallying against the meeting aimed to strengthen U.S. pressure against North Korea's nuclear program. A protest leader says, and we quote, the Obama administration should not unilaterally force North Korea to abandon its nuclear program. He also said if North Korea abandons the nuclear program, the Obama administration should also remove its hostile policy against the North. Protesters also say they'd like the administration to solve the nuclear problems on the Korean peninsula fundamentally.
In California right now, a San Francisco police officer opens fire on a woman who tried to run him down with her car. She smashed into at least 2 other vehicles yesterday afternoon, injuring 1 person. Police say the officer had no choice but to shoot the driver when she ignored his orders to stop. Her condition at this time is unknown. And in Hemet, a fire at a police station firing range is being investigated as a possible attack on the police department. The fire started in a converted trailer at the end of the shooting range. Police are trying to determine whether it is connected to a string of recent attacks on police officers. Since New Year's Eve, Hemet police have been the targets of at least 3 potentially deadly traps. No one was hurt in this fire.
And in northern Georgia, a deadly plane crash claiming the lives of 3 people. The plane was a Florida-based Navy plane. The pilot and the crew are among those 3 people who were killed, but officials are now looking for a possible 4th person that may have been on that plane. Authorities do not know what caused the plane to go down. And in the world right now, another plane crash, this one happening in Indonesia. A plane carrying more than 100 people skids off the runway and sends 20 people to the hospital early this morning. Officials say the Boeing 737-300 was landing at an airport in West Papua's capital after rain showers. The National Transport Safety Committee is investigating the accident. However, a slippery runway may have caused the crash. Indonesia, meantime, has suffered from a series of deadly air disasters over the years, affecting commercial and military aircraft.
And of course, for News 24/7 and to sign up for those breaking news email alerts and all alerts, just log on to our website, KIONrightnow.com.
All right, the time now is 5:08 on our Tuesday morning. We'll tell you why it may be easier to go through airport security if you carry an iPad versus a regular laptop coming up.
And later, a local girls basketball team is waking up as champions.
And after a stormy and cool Monday, it looks like our weather is changing as we roll into the rest of your work and school week. So how's it looking? I've got the details coming up in your complete Titan weather forecast. That's up next. Stay with us.
the largest news-gathering organization on the Central Coast. With offices in Santa Cruz, Monterey, Salinas, San Luis Obispo, Santa Maria, and Santa Barbara. Now in high definition. Central Coast News, right now.